Tourism is expected to be a huge driver for the country's recovery. The government is preparing the Ilocos region and Baguio City to welcome tourists again starting next week. This is just the first among the many travel bubbles for travel corridors to make the Philippines more fun and more safe. Let's explore this travel circuit plan with Tourism Undersecretary Benito Bengzon. Yusek, thank you so much for joining us on The Exchange. Taking a look at a tourism survey, 77% of Filipinos want to travel even during this COVID-19 pandemic. Well, hindi na kaya to stay at home and work from home. They need a break from this months-long lockdown.
That's correct, Rico. No, that was based on a survey that we conducted a few months ago. And very encouraging, the fact that 77% of Filipinos still want to travel domestically, even in the absence of a vaccine, is something that we all look forward to. And if at all, it really shows that the appetite for travel is still there, and this is something that we would like to capitalize on in the next few months.
So, Yusek, tuloy na ba talaga this tourism bubble from next week for the Ilocos region and for Baguio City? And after them, who would be next?
Correct, no, Rico. Itong reef to ridge or ridge to reef travel bubble that involves Baguio City and the neighboring provinces of Pangasinan, La Union, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur will be launched in a few days, no? September 22nd, by no less than Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat herself. And we're all excited because this will be the first travel corridor that we will be developing. And the idea here is to start stimulating movement in that area that forms part of the bubble. So hopefully this is something that can be replicated in other areas. We're also looking at the possibility of combining Boracay with some neighboring destinations to form another bubble. And we're also looking at other parts of the Visayas. So we're all excited.
That's good news, especially for Filipinos who want to travel domestically during this health crisis. Yusek, let's listen in now to this report by Lois Calderon on one resort devastated by this pandemic but striving to stay afloat.
Casa Escondida is among the few surviving resorts in Anilao, Batangas, a go-to diving place south of Manila. Most of the resorts along this road are either up for sale or have remained closed. But Casa Escondida owner Dong Vergara reopened his diving resort in July. But the place is not earning a single centavo till now.
Hindi po kami actually nagbawas ng employees. Nagdagdag pa po kami actually para lang at least makatulong kami. Hindi ko alam na aabot ng 6 months to actually. So medyo nahihirapan kami, so nag-decide kami na i-continue yung salary pero half na lang.
It's difficult to keep everyone on the payroll if the business is operating at a loss.
To break even, actually, kailangan namin at least 15 para mag-continue kami mag-operate. Pero hindi siya nangyayari. So kahit konti na lang, kahit 2 or 3 or 4, tinatanggap na namin. At least makatanggap lang kami ng konti, may pambayad kami sa salary ng tao, yung internet, yung tubig. Alexa, turn on lights.
Amazing. You've spent a lot too to comply with health protocols kaya may ganitong devices so your guests don't have to touch the switches.
Para lang ma-reduce natin yung risk.
Already in the red, but striving to stay afloat, Casa Escondida has used up its savings.
Allowed kami up to 30% capacity lang. That's it.
So anong tingin mo sa government policy, travel bubble, staycation, na limitado ang turista doon lang sa magkakadikit na rehiyon?
Yan din actually ang question ko eh. Ang market namin nanggagaling sa NCR lang. Kung hindi siya makakapasok dito, walang mangyayari sa tourism industry namin. Kailangan namin yung NCR.
Resorts in Anilao want the government to do a deep dive on tourism policy. But pending definite plans from authorities, resorts here could better choose to catch and ride the big wave coming their way, rather than be overwhelmed by it. Lois Calderon, CNN Philippines.
Undersecretary, you heard them. Many tourism stakeholders are really suffering, and many of them are also closing down. So they need these travel bubbles to start very soon. And you heard the resort owner, Metro Manila is a key driving force. They have the spending power. Will we be able to get into these travel circuits?
Well, the key there, Rico, is for NCR to transition to modified GCQ because based on the current guidelines, it's only the destinations that are under MGCQ that allow tourism. So, of course, we're looking forward to more destinations opening up, but this will also depend on the decision of the local government units. Apart from making sure that the local governments units have already given the go signal, it's also important for the various tourism establishments to comply with the health and safety guidelines that the DOT has formulated. So these are all part of the collective efforts of the DOT, part of the instruction of Secretary Puya to assist our tourism stakeholders. And I might as well mention that under the Bayanihan 2, there is a certain amount that will be allocated for tourism to assist our tourism stakeholders gain access to working capital loans. So this is some kind of a lifeline, especially to those who are having a difficult time having no revenue stream over the last 5 to 6 months.
The tourism stakeholders, Undersecretary, have been asking for this money to keep them afloat for many months now. When will they start receiving this help to at least relieve them of the pain due to this pandemic?
We're hoping to finalize the loan guidelines by next week in coordination with the Small Business Corporation of the Department of Trade and Industry, because under the Bayanihan 2 law, the funds will actually be administered by Small Business Corporation. So we've consulted already with tourism stakeholders, in particular the Tourism Congress of the Philippines. So we're close to finalizing the loan guidelines, and we hope to roll out the program in about 2 weeks' time.
All right, they will be holding on to that promise that they will be receiving some funding sooner rather than later. Tourism Undersecretary Benito Bengzon, thank you for that exchange on the travel bubble plan.